Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a good day out there. Better than me. It's Sunday, laundry day. Well, I have a little problem. I just emptied out the washing machine of clothes that I thought was washing. I could hear the unit running, and it made that slosh sound like it was washing, but the agitator wasn't turning. It would move. It would move about like this. You see the drum moving when I open this. I was like, what? So we got to see if we can figure this out. The thing was running. Let me plug it in and show you. Don't touch any buttons. There's no reason for this to turn on. So it sounds like it's in the wash mode. And that's what it does. Okay. So, no clothes in it. No buttons pressed. It shouldn't be running. This is a GE and it's the deep fill. I wanted this model because you can put a lot of clothes in it. But we go to cancel it. Usually you hold it in about, I don't know, does it say 3 seconds? It does say 3 seconds. Nothing happens at all. We might have a board problem. We might have a fill valve problem. We might have something going on here to think that it's got clothes in it, thinks that it's got water in it. But it's not agitating. Or it's trying to agitate. So let's see if we can figure this out. I don't know where to start. I'm going to try to do a little research on it. I was hoping I opened the lid here and I found a model number. I do. So we'll go and we'll see what type of agitator system it is. For now, I'm just going to unplug it to see if it's a direct drive, see if it's a belt drive. A belt drive, a belt can fall off. I had a washing machine from a customer given to me once. She purchased a new one, and the appliance dealer was there to take away the old one. And I mentioned, what are you doing with the old one? And they say, well, we're just going to scrap it. So I said, leave it here. So I took it home, and when I loaded it on the truck, the belt fell off on the ground. And I was like, ooh. So I looked at the belt, and the belt wasn't even worn. I put the belt back on. I had a free washer. I can't remember what I did with it. I didn't need one at the time. I think I gave it to my sister or someone that needed one. And I don't know, it worked for a number of years. This one I think is about 10 years old. And I think I want to look this up to be sure if there's a date on that. I don't know what the date code. It could be a 2014. It could be. I don't know. But we're going to find this out. I'm going to find out what's serviceable on it, how I can get this cover off. I probably got to pull this out and see how many dust bunnies are under it. Another thing I've seen in the past is I've seen these hoses plug up where there's a screen on them and you're not getting water through it. And I've also seen that some of these models have an anti-burst valve in the hose, and if it bursts when you have a, you know, like a pressure differential, a little valve inside of it closes and you don't get any water. What am I on here? I'm on cold, so I probably should put it on warm, not hot but warm anyway, and that'll get hot and cold to see if it fills. But because it's running with nothing in it, and it was running with something in it before, but because it wasn't cycling, I think we're going to have to pull this apart and find out what's going on at the board, the fill switch. I know there's a door switch that needs to be pressed, but if it's running, it's probably not this because it wouldn't be running. And so let's see if we can figure this out. I'll do a little research and come back on. Okay, so I pulled the washer out. And the first thing I wanted to tackle was the hoses. Now these are Eastman's, which are pretty good. A couple of dust bunnies. Looking at them, I can't tell, but I have installed anti-burst hoses before. And a short story on that, what's this say? Use with something. I can't read the other side of it. Use with water, I don't know. See if I can find another one here. Out of focus. Use with only, I don't know. I still can't read it. Exposed locations. I wanted to see if these were anti-burst hoses. Recently I installed, I don't know, 3-4 years ago, I installed some anti-burst for a customer who vacations quite a bit. And I thought, well, if they're not there to check their laundry, when I'm putting new hoses on, I did want to upgrade from the black hoses to the stainless. Let me buy the anti-burst hoses. So they should burst if there's a sudden drop of pressure, like meaning the valve is closed right now, so no water can flow. And just as soon as this breaks, you take a knife and cut this, the valve inside the hose should pop and block the water from leaking. So recently they called me and said that their washing machine doesn't work. And I thought, well, what should I do? You know, should I work on it? Should we call an appliance repair place? They said I was a second choice. They called the appliance place and they couldn't come out for, I think it was 4 days. I think it was a Thursday to Monday or something. And they had family and friends over and they had a lot of laundry to do. Kids, you know, they were staying there for the holiday. And once they said I was their second choice, I wasn't real interested in going. Not only that, is I didn't have any parts, and if I need parts in a hurry, I would go to this appliance place to see if they have them. A lot of times they have to order them, so I thought I'll better back away from that one. I said to them in a text form, this all by text, I said, make sure the washing machine's getting water, find out if it's filling, and then what is it doing? And they said it's not filling. And I said, and that's where I left it. A few days later, I asked them what was it? And they said one of the hoses was bad. So that's an anti-burst hose. So I'm going to check that here. What you do is you shut the water off. And this has a valve up here. Push it back. But I also have these down here. Turn these off too, I guess. Just to be sure. I want to disconnect this end of the hose on both of them. Alright, so I got both of them loose. The hot's on this side. I've got a towel and a bucket down there. There's no screen. There is a screen and it's not plugged. So now what I want to do is grab my container. I can hold it. Grab this container. Get a little bit closer to where we're working. And then I'm going to turn on this upper valve. Put it in here and see what kind of flow we got. Okay, you see the water flowing. I think that's why them valves are installed. But the other thing is, this turns on hot and cold at the same time, and this will do individual. It's still flowing, so I'm assuming it stopped. Okay, so now I'm going to turn the hot on. I'm not going to turn on full blast because I don't want to wear it. But we have good flow. Okay. Now, I'll shut that valve back off up there. Disconnect the cold. Check the screen on that one. That's not plugged. We're going to put this into our bucket. And we're going to turn the upper valve on. Now we're going to turn just the cold on. See, we got really good flow. So, these probably are not anti-burst hoses. Let's see if I can read this little sign better now. What's that say on there? Use with water only in exposed locations. Okay, they don't want it put behind a wall. Who would do that? Okay, so we just eliminated water getting to the washing machine. Is not the problem. I was hoping it's something that simple. That I did use anti-burst hoses. One of them failed. I got no water getting to the washing machine. So now we're going to have to take off these 4 bolts. They look like 1/4 inch. And loosen this cover up. Another thing I wanted to say is it wasn't agitating. I wanted to check my agitator. Normally you can spin these freely one direction but not the other. You see that? So this tells me that the gear on the agitator is probably okay. It tells me that the drive shaft coming up to the agitator is probably okay because I can spin it. I have seen these strip out before. If you can get down to it. Let's see. This comes out. There's your fabric softener. I'm not sure how you get out farther than that on this model. I'll have to look it up. But you can pull them agitators right off. Not sure on this one. But this appears to be okay. So I heard the motor running. So there could be a drive problem on this still. But there was no water when I removed the clothing from this. I pulled the clothes out. There's no water in the basin. So that leads me to believe that there's a problem with this fill valve. And I want to test this. So we've got to take them 4 screws out. I brought in an ohm meter. We can check the switch to see if it's good. Let's see how this comes off. Might need a putty knife sometimes to get in there. This one. There's 2 more. There's 2 more bolts. It looks like this whole thing can swivel ahead. Let's try that. I don't know if I can reach in there without an extension. No. Figures. I run out and grab an extension, or what do I have in here? I can go with 1/4 inch. Don't know. All this will still reach down in there. Get them bolts out. There's 2 more of them. We should be able to flip this cover forward. There's that one. These are longer. Let's see if that got us any farther in. That pivots back. And ooh, there's a capacitor. Okay, so something's falling apart here. Now we need a flashlight, see what's going on. We've got bunches of stuff in here. This is our fill valve. The screens are not plugged. If they got plugged, you wouldn't get water. Wiring looks good. Switch is plugged in. We want to check continuity on each one of these solenoids. When it calls for water, Its electromagnet pulls up, allows the water to go in. And don't see any corrosion on them or anything. Here's the motherboard. Hopefully it's not that. That's going to be money. I think these fill valves are 20 something probably. So let's start with that. We're going to disconnect. Gotta lift that clip up. Here's what I got. We're not plugged in. Lift that clip up. I don't know how this side goes. It's different. Just pulls off. I wonder why there's a lock on one side. Alright, let's test the continuity between each leg. We put this on. Should get me a beeping sound. Should have. We got nothing. And we got nothing. I was thinking we should get some resistance through it. And we got nada. So I can't believe both sides would test the same, but you couldn't get water on either one. So let me do a little more research, see how far I want to go from here. The next thing, if this is okay, we still got to figure out if I'm testing it right. I am not an appliance repairman, so don't follow me. You see this little rubber hose? You follow this up. This one goes on the circuit board, which is a bummer. The water goes right to the circuit board. That means that that's the fill switch. When it gets up so much level in water, that turns on. I was hoping it's one of these smaller switches, but that would turn the agitator on once it's full of water. So this hose coming up there, normally it's a switch. This is a whole board. Not sure how to test that either. So this might get more expensive than I'm going to want to spend on a wash machine that's got some age on it. It looks in good condition, but this has been used a lot. I was hoping it's something reasonable. And let me do a little homework. I'll come back on. See if I can see anything obvious wrong. I'm going to make sure that this fill valve is good first. Now I'm pretty sure that if I'm getting no resistance, it's an open circuit in the solenoids. What's puzzling a little bit is that both of them are showing that. So I grabbed another meter, the old trusty Craftsman that got melted here. We'll put this on like the lowest scale. Can you read that? It's like, it says 1, and then there we go, 0. So let's see if this tests the same. I got absolutely nothing. Oh, almost had something there. See that? It popped up for a split second. So I think that the solenoid's bad. So I'm going to continue to take this out. This looks to be the reason we're not getting water in the tub. It doesn't explain to me why I can't cancel and do other things. So I'm going to try to find out if there's something else wrong. But we have to start somewhere. On this one, this sits down in the body. I thought it'd be up in the top. It looks like there's one screw and then a clip holding it down. Maybe it'll come off, and then there should be a hoses to it. And let's see if we can. use the same tool. I'd rather not spend 90 bucks an hour for them to work on it, plus a house call, plus the list on the parts. And that's, oh, there's 2 screws, and that's what they do, and it add on to $200-300 in a hurry, easy. And if it's a simple repair and a cheap enough part, I'd like to do it. If this is going to cost 300 bucks to fix it, then I'd consider a new washing machine because of the age of it. I did not find out the year of it, but I think 2014 sounds about right. Okay, there is no hose on this model. The whole body comes in and throws the water out. Huh, that's kind of cool. A lot of them have a hose that comes out. Now I can see into these strainers real well, and they're pretty clean. And so here's a number I can skew. There is a sensor right here. I don't know if that just pulls right out. Yep. Some kind of sensor that senses temperature or water volume. It does have a little blue O-ring there. So, let me see if I can get this valve and then confirm this is that I'm testing it properly. And I believe on the models with a hose on them, there's like a little hose going off. You could blow into that hose and you could hear the suction stop. It's like a little valve moving. On this one, where all that comes out, I don't know how to do that. Huh, kind of neat. Let me see what I can learn. Okay, I went to, where is it? AppliancePartsPro.com. There is a drive belt on this model. $16.02. This is an OEM number. And the water inlet valve is 4046, and that's the OEM number. So these are GE parts. And they ship, I could get it shipped tomorrow. So who knows how many days it would be. And the shipping cost, it says to be determined. So I'm not sure if I want to go that route or just check our local appliance store to see if they have them in stock, because they have a parts department, and see what the price differential. If it's a couple bucks, it'd be worth it to save on the shipping. I could pick it right up. So if there's a drive belt down there, it would start to make sense, because it wouldn't finish through the cycle, because we saw the drum starting to try to agitate and it wasn't getting water, so the fill valve wasn't working, and we tested continuity on both of these and we got nothing. So it appears that this is bad. We isolated this from the whole unit. And then I think the second problem is it's very possible the belt is off from it. And in the exploded view diagram, it might be visible if I can tip the machine forward. So if I can get a helper, we flip this machine forward, I can look under there to see if the belt is burnt, off, broken, and find out if we need a belt. Because if I can find two obvious problems, I'll go ahead and buy them. If I'm just starting to be a parts replacement guy, I'm not sure I want to spend $41 plus tax plus shipping if there's a problem with the drum too. So let me do a little more homework still. Alright, Dawson helped me tip this over in here. There's our parts list underneath it, which is good. I probably will be grabbing that out of there. And then it gives me time to inspect things. Here's a cover, and under here I can see a belt. And so what I want to do is take this cover off, look like 10 millimeter, and it looks like at least three bolts. And while I'm under here, I can see some other components. I don't recall what that is. Some kind of drain is probably. It's got a motor on it, and then up there, out of focus, is your float. I'm spilling water because we couldn't drain this. Could we, Tiger? You want to see what we're doing? What are we doing? And so I want to take this cover off and see if the belt is defective. And see if it's slipping or not. If this was agitating or not. Okay, there's our belt. And it looks really good condition. It is a little wet right now. And see, there's a lot of debris off the belt. Probably should put a belt on it, but when this thing drains, this sounds like a freight train. This thing really cranks. So what I'm testing right now is the motor's turning and it's agitating. So that tells me the transmission's probably good. And if we try to turn just the motor, can I get it to slip? Yes. See that? It is slipping. So we'd have to find out why it's wet. You see that? It's got like a... out of focus. But a lot of like grease on it. That's kind of odd. But if I was going to do the fill valve, I probably should replace the belt, get some brake clean up these grooves. Looks like an alternator type fitting. And get this grease off from here. That's going to make the belt slip. Almost like belt dressing on there. You don't want to put that on there. So see, I can turn this and there we go. See, that's slipping. Get the whole thing in view. I can turn this back and forth and that's slipping. If I turn it slow, it'll agitate it. So when this thing takes off, this thing screams, and I think it's just slipping. I had a load of clothes in there. It's like grease. My hands are black now. And I could take this off and try to clean it maybe. But it's not gripping the pulley right now. Alright, so I took the belt off and it's all greasy, slimy. And then this wheel is all like greasy, sticky. Look at that. So where would that grease be coming from? The bottom bearing? Maybe? I don't know. I don't see anything splashing around. If you look inside the cover, let me get the light right. That's kind of sticky too. But I don't know. Not real familiar, guys. So I'm not sure I'm going to be able to repair this thing. Because I'm not sure how complicated. I was thinking this is a little more mechanical and not so digital. Because what I did, I got some brake clean in here. And I'll just clean this up. And then wipe this off. Put this back together. Stand the unit up. And I'm going to go up and test that board some more and see what I can learn. Well, the belt cleaned up pretty nice. The pulleys look really good now too. I used a little bit of brake clean and some rags. I'm going to put this belt back on. Then I'm going to put the cover on. And then I might be done under here. This might be more of a help video. Like, hey, I need help. Any of you appliance guys out there, tell me what I should be looking for. You see that? That operates pretty good. I'm sure it has a little bit of built-in slippage. But I'm going to put this back together. I want to go back up and test that valve again. Make sure I'm right. I think it's supposed to be somewhere 3 or 500 to 1500 ohms. So I want to test that. But while I'm in here, I think I'll grab that paperwork, see what I can learn out of there. Might be my parts list. And then move on. I was hoping to get out of this reasonable as a how-to or help me video or DIY it, fix it on my own. I do not want to spend that much in an 8-year-old machine. I would say if the motherboard's bad and I can get it for 2 something, I would imagine they charge a list of 3 something, and then service call, labor, travel, all this stuff is gonna, easy $500 in this thing. It's not worth it to me. I just soon replace the machine. If it's 2 years old, yeah, I'd consider it. So I'll put this back together for now. Alright, I put it on the 2000 scale. I think it's supposed to be somewhere between 500 and 1500 ohms. I think I had it on the wrong scale. I've got 1330 something. And I got 1470. This is a little bit high, but it's still within range. So I think the fill valve may be okay. Because like I said, I think it'd be rare that both sides would be bad at the same time. I think I had it on the wrong setting. So now I have to find out, water get into the machine? Yes, it does. If the fill valve is good and the hose isn't nothing like that, because this is straight through, I was hoping to test the water side of this. I don't know how to do it because there's so many holes there. Normally a hose you can just blow into it and get the valve to pop. But not saying that this isn't bad mechanically, but electrically it's okay. I don't know how to test it. It still could be bad. What I say the price was on that? It's where is it? $40 plus tax plus shipping. So I probably can get a better price on that if I look around. I don't want to go and buy a board for it. I cleaned the valve, the drive belt, and the pulley assembly. See all the black on my hands. That cleaned off well with a brake clean. And so the next thing is on this board here, this water fill comes up to the board and not a separate valve. So this whole board could be defective, and I got to figure out how to test that. And that came in at $227 plus tax plus shipping. I don't know if I want to put that much in a machine this age. If it was a couple years, yes. This many years, 8. I don't know. Probably not. So I want to confirm how to test this properly on the mechanical side. Now, I don't see how you can get into this. Looks like a sealed unit. But I was hoping I'd get away with something like this. I'd go for it. So let me learn more and I'll get back to you. Okay, this little air tube is a pressure tube. Goes down to about 2/3 of the drum. And it's a pressure switch, and it tells here at the board if you have water and to turn on the cycle. This could be leaking. I pulled this off, blew through it. But if I pulled it off down there and plugged the end and blew through it, if I can't do it, that means the hose isn't cracked or nothing. It's in good shape. I'm sure this is in good shape. But I didn't do that yet. But I did learn that it could get plugged down there, and to put a 1/16 drill bit through it and make sure it's clear, just push a drill bit in there. And that's something I'd have to either take that cover off and go through there, or I take the lid off with these 2 bolts and then slide it ahead, and I can reach down in there. And I want to test the door switch on this too. I want to do as much as I can before I give up on this. I opened up the paperwork that I found on the bottom, and it tells me that I got a digital code I can test on this by plugging it in, and within like 4 seconds I hold the button to start, and then I cycle the switch left, I think 7 times, and I get all these code. So I want to read all these errors and see what happens on this. Remember, when I plugged this in, it just hummed. It didn't do anything. It's not supposed to run. And I haven't come across that problem yet. That's what I would need to learn here. For these tests to run, I want to plug my fill valve back in. and do the electrical test on it. Okay, I got the electric on and the water turned back on. I don't have this cover fastened down. I went to the consumer error mode. Press and hold 10 seconds. Now my codes are flashing. Now I got to follow what we got here. It looks like we got a 1, 2, 3. We come down fault code 1, 2, 3. UI software version critical. That's it. That's not good. After entering this test, press start button to toggle through. I'm going to read through this to see if I can understand what codes are present. It's quite a few codes here. And it goes on to the back page. So quite a bit going on here. All right. I think I'm trying to figure this out here. Press and hold for 10 seconds on the start button. And then it's going to flash some codes. I let go. And we got 1, 2, 3. So we go to this chart here and we got to match those lights up, which is 1, 2, 3, number 21. Right? Is that correct, Dawson? Because that's the first one.
22.
Sensing fill.
22.
No, that's the first one, right?
There's 6 lights, and it's the second, the fourth, and the fifth.
Second, fourth, and fifth. So what do I write down here? 1, 3, 4. So it's not. Second, fourth, and fifth, which is second. Where is it again? This one, 22. So 22, you come down here to the chart. Out of balance during a dry load sense. So it's saying when I threw the clothes in there, they were not balanced. Large, wet, were being washed. I don't agree with that. I didn't have anything wet when I threw it in there, but this is set. Condition is detected during a dry load sense algorithm. Dry load sense will be abandoned and wet load sense will be started. Check for excessively out of balance, customer education on how to distribute load. I've been doing this washer for, since 2016. Check the basket for excessive friction or for being excessively out of round. Basket should spin freely, which I showed you earlier, without a wobble. The only thing we noticed was the belt was all greasy and it was slipping. One basket is bad, replace it. The basket. Must be the whole thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear this. I think you just do anything to clear it. And I'm going to try to refill it. We'll see what happens. What we're going to do is we're going to put this on normal. This time we're going to put it on warm. That'll do hot and cold. That'll check our fill valve. And then we'll put it on, it doesn't matter what size load. Large. And then what we'll do, it said, they didn't say drum, they said basket. So what basket would be out of round? You know what I mean? They all bounce around in here. That doesn't look out of round to me. So now we'll just press start, see what happens. Now that's not filling normally. See that? It just stopped. There we go. Maybe. I should be able to open the door. Wow, it's flying in there now. It actually has not been flying in there like that. It's a little less than that, so I'm possibly taking that fill valve out. I did knock a little bit of debris out. Look here on the dryer. I was tapping it. Dawson said I was making a mess. Maybe it was plugged slightly. Coming in there nice now. Okay, I want to stop it. Now I want to change this to drain and spin. Now it's on spin. I don't have that secured back there because we're so far out from the wall. I usually put a zip tie to hold it. Hopefully it'll go. And drain this, and I'll push this on back, and I'll try running a load, and maybe we fixed it, no parts required. It's not spinning. Do I need to press start? Not doing anything, guys. Oh, it's slow, huh? Like me in my old age. It says it's going to do it. Now the lid's supposed to be locked. Well, alright. Hopefully that hose won't fly out. That'll be a good video. Wow. No parts required. Did we fix this thing? That'd be amazing. I did mess with so many things on this, but let's see if it did. I don't know why it stopped. Probably got a timer on it. Hose is jiggling, so obviously the pump is working. That's the sound we heard, wasn't it? So I use that zip tie around that pipe. Alright, so I'm going to let this drain out, and then I'll finish assembling this, cover back on, and we'll see what happens. So I pulled the plug on it. Now, remember our pressure hose, I blew through that. That senses load fill. So we might have fixed this by just monkeying around. The wire connections, I got these back on. I did tap out a little bit of debris in this. Other than that, you know, cleaning the belt down there, cleaning the pulleys. I'm going to put this all back together and retest it. This would be awesome. Okay, I got a load of wash in there, soap and fabric softener. We're going to put this on normal. I'll do cold water. I'll do a large load, extra spin. Don't need auto soak. And then start. Let's see what we got. Well, it paused when I open the lid. Well, we got pretty good pressure now. Awesome. I think we got a no parts fix here. If you saw how I fixed it, you tell me. It's very possible it was just a digital error. But when I did 2 loads of wash yesterday, and the second load I filled as usual. Of course, I put the other in the dryer, walked away, came back like 6 hours later, and the washing machine was humming, and that's all it was doing. So it's sensing the fill. We picked that. We're good to go. I think we're in business, guys. I don't have to buy any parts. That's awesome. And what I learned is the belt probably was slipping. I found this little chart. I purchased this 2016, I think. And I don't have the owner's manual handy. So, you know how you misplace them. I probably should have put it here on the shelf. And I probably could have done this a little bit quicker. But by tearing things apart, I learned a little bit. I'm going to keep this handy. And thanks for watching. We'll see you soon, guys. Happy laundry.